Have you ever stopped for a moment, looked at your paycheck, and quietly wondered? If I'm doing everything right, why does it still feel like I'm falling behind? You went to school. You worked hard. You got the job. Maybe even the promotion. You did exactly what society told you would lead to security. So why, after years of effort, do so many people still feel financially trapped? Why does life still feel like an endless cycle of bills, taxes, debt, rent, rising prices, and just enough money to survive, but rarely enough to truly break free? Here's the uncomfortable question most people never ask. What if the system was never designed to make you wealthy? Only productive? Charlie Munger, one of the greatest financial minds of all time, understood something millions of workers never fully realize. A salary can make you a living. But by itself, it may never make you free. Because if all you ever do is trade time for money, you may spend your entire life working harder, without ever truly getting ahead. In this video, you'll discover the hidden salary trap, why so many hardworking people stay financially stuck, and most importantly, how the wealthy think differently. Stay until the end, because this could completely change how you view your job, your paycheck, and your future. And before we begin, this video took hours of deep research, strategy, and effort to create for you completely free. So if you believe financial education should reach more people, do one small thing. Like this video, subscribe, and help us keep this mission alive. Because one click from you could help someone else escape financial blindness. Now, let's expose the trap. From the time you were young, you were likely sold one formula. Study hard. Get good grades. Find a stable job. Work for 40 years. Retire someday. It sounds safe. Predictable. Responsible. And that's exactly why most people never question it. But Charlie Munger did. Because Munger understood that what society calls security can sometimes be the very thing that keeps people financially dependent. A salary gives you income. But income alone is not wealth. That distinction changes everything. A paycheck can pay your rent. A paycheck can buy groceries. A paycheck can fund your lifestyle. But unless that money is converted into assets, you are still dependent on your next paycheck. And dependence is dangerous. Because the moment your income stops, the machine stops. This is why millions of people with decent salaries still live in fear. Fear of layoffs. Fear of recession. Fear of medical bills. Fear of emergencies. Because without ownership, income can disappear faster than people imagine. This is the first trap. Many people confuse earning with building. They think making money means they're progressing. But often, they're just maintaining. Charlie Munger understood wealth is not about how much money passes through your hands. It's about how much of it stays, grows, and works without you. That's a completely different game. Now think about this. Your salary has a ceiling. No matter how hardworking you are, there are only 24 hours in a day. You can ask for raises. You can work overtime. You can chase promotions. But eventually, time becomes your limitation. This is the brutal flaw in the salary model. You are trading a finite resource, your life, for money. And while that may create survival, it rarely creates scale. Munger knew real wealth often comes from systems that disconnect income from personal labor. Businesses. Stocks. Equity. Royalties. Investments. Assets. Things that can grow, even while you sleep. That's when money starts working for you. And that's why the wealthy often focus less on salary and more on ownership. Because ownership scales. A salary pays you once. An asset can pay you repeatedly. But the system rarely teaches this early. Why? Because employees keep economies running. Workers produce. Consumers spend. And many people become trapped in a loop they never intended. Work. Earn. Spend. Repeat. This brings us to another hidden force. Taxes. For many salary earners, taxes are removed before they even touch their money. Before you build wealth, a portion is already gone. Meanwhile, business owners and investors often have access to deductions, strategies, and structures the average employee never fully understands. This doesn't mean jobs are bad. It means financial education is essential. Because without strategy, even high income can feel like running uphill. And then comes inflation. The silent destroyer. You finally get a raise. Maybe 5%. You feel proud. You feel like you're moving up. But then rent rises. Food rises. Gas rises. Insurance rises. Suddenly, that raise doesn't feel like progress. It feels like survival. This is why so many workers feel exhausted despite earning more. Because inflation can quietly erase financial momentum. And if your money isn't invested in things that outpace inflation, you may be working harder just to stand still. Charlie Munger understood this deeply. He knew saving alone wasn't enough. Because stagnant money loses power. Money must grow. Now here's where the trap becomes even more dangerous. Lifestyle creep. This is one of the biggest financial illusions in modern life. You earn more. So you upgrade. Better car. Bigger apartment. Nicer clothes. Higher bills. And suddenly, your increased income doesn't create freedom. It creates new obligations. You look wealthier. But you may actually be more financially fragile. This is how many people become lifelong salary prisoners. Every raise gets consumed. Every promotion increases expenses. And instead of buying freedom, they buy pressure. Munger's philosophy was radically different. He valued rationality over appearance. He understood that wealth is often built quietly. Not performatively. Real wealth is what you own. Not what you display. And this is where the conversation shifts from income to ownership. Because ownership is where the game changes. When you own stocks, you own pieces of businesses. When you own rental property, cash flow may come whether you clock in or not. When you build systems, income can continue beyond your hours. Ownership transforms your relationship with money. Instead of constantly asking, "How can I earn more?" you begin asking, "How can I own more?" That question can alter your entire future. But ownership requires intention. And for many people, that means breaking society's default script. Because the traditional system often rewards obedience. Not necessarily financial independence. It teaches you how to earn. But not always how to escape dependence. So ask yourself. Have you been climbing a ladder? Only to realize it may be leaning against the wrong wall. That question is uncomfortable. But powerful. Right here, be honest. Do you feel like your salary is building your future, or just funding your present? Drop your answer in the comments. Because your story may resonate with someone else who feels the same way. Now, this doesn't mean quit your job tomorrow. That's not Charlie Munger's message. A salary can be a tool. A foundation. A starting point. But the danger is believing it's the final destination. Your salary should ideally fund asset creation. Not just consumption. It should help you buy freedom. Not just finance survival. This is the mindset shift. Use earned income to acquire ownership. Use your job strategically. Build investments. Create additional income streams. Learn. Adapt. Think long-term. Because the real goal isn't to abandon work. It's to stop being permanently dependent on one source. And that may be the greatest financial lesson of all. The system becomes dangerous when you never evolve beyond it. Charlie Munger believed in thinking independently. And independent thinking is rare. Most people follow default patterns because they feel normal. But normal does not always mean optimal. Normal can mean broke. Normal can mean overworked. Normal can mean financially vulnerable. If you want extraordinary freedom, at some point, you may need extraordinary awareness. This is not about blaming jobs. It's about understanding limitations. A salary can support you. But ownership can liberate you. A paycheck can sustain your life. But assets can expand your life. That's the difference. And once you see it, it becomes hard to unsee. Because suddenly, you realize wealth is not just about income. It's about leverage, systems, equity, control, and perhaps most importantly, choice. The power to choose how you spend your time, where you live, what you do, who you work with. That's real wealth. Not just money. Freedom. So if you've been working hard but still feel stuck, it may not be because you're failing. You may simply be playing a game that was never designed to make workers wealthy by default. And Charlie Munger's warning is clear. If you spend your whole life only earning, without building, you may remain trapped in a cycle that looks stable, but keeps you behind. So build. Learn. Own. Think bigger than survival. Because your paycheck may cover your life. But your assets may one day set you free. At the end of the day, Charlie Munger's lesson isn't that salaries are useless. It's that salaries alone can become a trap, if you never graduate beyond them. Your job can feed you. But your investments can free you. Your paycheck can maintain you. But ownership can multiply you. The hidden danger was never work itself. It was believing that working harder inside the same system automatically leads to wealth. For millions, it doesn't. Not because they aren't disciplined, but because they were never taught to think beyond earned income. So here's the promise we made at the beginning. To change how you see your paycheck forever. And here it is. A salary is a tool, not the destination. Use it. Respect it. But don't depend on it forever. Let it fund your escape. Because financial freedom often begins the moment you stop asking only, how much do I earn? And start asking, what do I own? Thanks for watching. If this video opened your eyes, share it with someone trapped in the paycheck cycle. Subscribe if you haven't already, because this channel is about breaking financial illusions and building real freedom. And don't stop here. Watch the next video now. Because once you understand how the system works, you can finally start learning how to rise beyond it.